Happy Pride Month! It is June 1st here, and I'm so happy that it's June. I am at work. You're propped up on my water bottle right now, a little precariously, so we'll see how long that lasts. But I just wanted to check in and tell you my plans for this week. Last night I watched Maddie's sprints for the kickoff of Whateverthon, and it was lovely. Though I didn't do any reading because it's not June 1st, or it wasn't June 1st last night in my time zone yet, so I didn't feel right starting quite yet. But I enjoyed watching the sprints. It was fun. I made dinner to them, and then I went and watched the whole first season of Heartstopper on Netflix, and oh my gosh, the young love and the gay panic warmed my heart and melted it and broke it into pieces. It was so cute. I loved it so much. I think it did such a good job of casting the characters from the graphic novels, and it did such a good job of following the events in the graphic novels and making it feel like it had depth. Not that the graphic novel doesn't, but just seeing it live was really fun. So I'm sad. I shouldn't have binged the whole thing. I should have saved myself some, but I stayed up way too late last night binging the entire season, and it was so good. It made me cry on several occasions. I highly recommend it. I'm wearing my Pride shirt. It's my D&D Dice Pride shirt that was gifted to me, and I love it so much. And so yeah, I'm just happy. I'm just happy. Today I'm gonna try and get a few videos edited and uploaded. I had some technological difficulties with the last video that I uploaded, and there was no sound on it, and I was dumb and didn't save my completely finished edited version of that video, and it was like an hour long, and it's gone. So now I need to re-edit it and upload it, so I'm gonna work on that. I also have a lot to do here in my classroom before the end of the year, so I need to work on that this week too. I've got this week and next week, and then school's out for the summer, and I'll be starting my summer job, so it should be good. Anyway, I hope that you guys have a wonderful start to your month, and I will check in with you guys just as soon as I have an update.
Pretty Little Lies at the same time, and I think I read like 5 nonfiction. I read like 2 Little Lies.
Oh my child, I know you're hurt and you can't let go. It's not your fault and you don't deserve all the bad and the hurt. I know you tried so hard.
Hello. It is June 2nd, and I just closed the window on my cat because it's a little noisy out there with the sprinklers, but I feel bad, so sorry for the background noise. But it's June 2nd, and I started my reading for Whateverthon yesterday, and I am having such a good time. I decided to pick up Bonds of Brass first. This is a science fiction gay adventure story that really reminds me of the fan fiction that I used to read a few years ago. I was a huge fan of reading gay fan fiction based off of the show Voltron. It's a little embarrassing to admit, but I loved it so much, and I read so much of it, and this really reminds me of that, and so it's bringing me some really lovely memories from that time in my life. But I love this story so far. It is a story of these 2 young men who are growing up in a world that is ruled by the Umber Empire, and one of the young men is revealed to be the heir to the Umber Empire, and the Umber Empire 7 years before had essentially come in and conquered the adjoining empire, which is where the other young man was from. And so they're essentially on different sides of the political world. There's a lot of reasons why the young man who is from the conquered empire should really hate the heir to the empire, because the empire is brutal and destroyed their empire and killed their leaders, and it's been a rough recovery for this young man. But he didn't know that he was best friends with the heir to the empire that destroyed his life, essentially. So that's complicated. It's pretty complicated, but the brewing romance and the chemistry and the banter and the high speed interstellar ship fighting and war and like all of that, I'm here for it. I'm living for it. I love this so far. I am about 100 pages in, chapter 10. So far, so good. Today, I had a really good conversation with my 4th graders, because I have one young girl in my class who has 2 moms who are lesbian, and that is kind of uncommon in the society that we live in. And she came to school so happy that it was Pride Month, and she was just like unreservedly happy Pride, it's Pride Month, and like wanting to doodle all of the pride flags and all of these things and talk about it with her friends. And it was the most beautiful thing, wholesome thing that I've seen in a really, really long time. And so that, it just made my day. It really did. It was great. I hope that you guys are having a lovely beginning to your month. Sorry, I think that I got cat hair in my eye or something. Ow. But I hope that you guys are having a lovely beginning to your month. I hope that you are enjoying your Whateverthon and attending the many sprints that have been happening, because it's been great. And I will update you guys in a little bit. I have finished Bonds of Brass, and it was so good. I read it in 2 sittings. The pacing was so fast-paced and perfect for the story and the type of story that this is. I gave this a 5 stars. I loved the characters. I loved the complications of the politics that were in this story. I loved the internal turmoil of the characters. I loved the ending. Oh my gosh. I saw the ending coming right before it happened, but I didn't see it before that. So I really, really loved the twist at the end of this, and I'm really excited to read the second one. The second one comes out in paperback this month, so I'm so excited to get my hands on that. 100% recommend this. Such a good read. I then started Persephone Station last night, and it's really good so far. It's very, very queer, which is cool. There's a normality to queer relationships and differences in gender and gender identity and all of those things that is just inherent in the story, and it's not like front and center. It's just like you live in a world where that is just normal. And that's one of the best things about queer sci-fi, is that a lot of the times the worlds that are created in science fiction are just a society that has normalized queer identities and queer relationships, and I love it so much. I love it so much. It seems pretty complicated. There's a lot of different characters. It's quite a hefty book too. The print itself is not super tiny, like it's got wide margins, and the print is fairly large, so I'm hopeful that I can get through it this weekend if I do nothing but read. There have been a couple of places where I felt that the descriptions were unnecessary, like just like randomly describing things that I don't care about. So I feel like it might be just slightly overwritten, but I'm only on like the 5th chapter, so we'll see how it goes. I'll give you an update as I go along. Hello. I'm sick, but I wanted to give a quick update on Persephone Station. I'm about halfway through page 230-ish, and the first half of this book was a lot of like world building and character development, which wasn't uninteresting, but there wasn't a lot of like stuff happening with the plot, so it was kind of slow and I found myself kind of bored. And then like right at the point where I was like, okay, this is really boring, it started picking up. So it's redeeming itself. This is a story of a planet called Persephone, and humans have come in and colonized it, and they are not aware of an indigenous species, an indigenous people who live on the planet because they don't want to be known. They don't want them to know that they're there because they know what they'll do. But one of the people in charge, who was murdering her way into becoming in charge, knows what's happening and knows that they're there and is determined to wipe them from the face of the planet, just like they knew was going to happen. So there is this conflict happening, and the main characters that we're introduced to are tasked with protecting the indigenous people of the planet. And so far it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of like complicated storylines going on. There's a lot of characters with a lot of different backstories. Almost every single character is female. Almost every single character is queer or non-binary or some such LGBTQIA denomination. I really appreciate the world building. I think it's really cool. I like the setting that this is in. I like my brain is mush. Anyway, yeah, so far it's pretty good. I think it's leaning towards a 4 stars for me so far, and that will depend on how the second half of the book goes, whether it's a 3 or a 4 star. I don't think it's going to be a 5 star, but you never know. It might surprise me. So I'm going to see if I can get this finished today. I am so upset that I'm getting sick right before the last week of school. Like, if it could have just waited 1 week. But everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. I got caught in a thunder and lightning storm when I was doing laundry earlier today, which was pretty cool. It was pouring down rain, and it's still raining outside. So right now I'm just reading and listening to the rain and cuddling with my cats. So I will give you a proper update later. I finished it, and I'm gonna give it a 3 star. It was very, very similar to Avatar, the movie with the blue people, if you've ever heard of that. Kind of the same premise where there's an indigenous people, and part of the human race is trying to save it, and part of it is trying to destroy it or steal resources that belong to this indigenous people. A lot of the details were kind of different, but the overall plot was very similar. I definitely wasn't super engaged. I feel like it was missing something, but I don't really know what it was, because the characters were pretty good. Like, I really enjoyed the different characters, so I don't really know. Maybe it was too similar to Avatar for my liking. Like, it was just very similar to another sci-fi that I am very familiar with and really enjoy. So that might have been it for me, but I have finished this, so I'm going to wrap up this vlog, get it edited and uploaded. I hope that you have had a wonderful first week of Pride, that you're reading all of the queer literature, and if you are, please comment what you're reading down below so I can go check it out, because I'm always looking for more queer lit. If you liked the video, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.